Assalamualaikum everyone, my name is IMAN SORAYA from 5 Gigih SMK Abdurrahman Talib Kuantan. So today I'll be talking about the hydraulic jack. So when it comes to hydraulic jack, whenever you see this diagram or the word itself, you'll know it is related to the Pascal principle. Now what is Pascal principle? Pascal principle states that when pressure is applied to an enclosed fluid, it is transmitted uniformly in all directions in the fluid. I know it is quite hard to understand what Pascal principle trying to say, what Pascal principle trying to prove. So I'm going to use a diagram to explain more about the Pascal principle so you will have a better idea on what Pascal principle actually is. So what can you see from this diagram? Firstly, you can see a force is applied on the piston. Next, you can see water spurting out in all directions. So, when the piston is pushed, a force exerted on the surface of the water. Hence, it produces pressure. So, the pressure acting on the water is transmitted uniformly in all directions throughout the water. That's why you can see the water shooting out in all directions but with the same speed. Hence, you can say the pressure is transmitted uniformly. Why? Because you can see the water spurting out at the same speed. You won't see this part shoots out faster and this part will shoots out slower. No, the water will shoot out at the same speed because the pressure acting on the water is the same in all directions. So that is what Pascal principle is. Now, hydraulic jack is actually one of the applications of the Pascal principle. So I'm going to explain how we're going to use Pascal principle in a hydraulic jack. Now I'm going to use a picture to explain about the hydraulic jack. So this is the diagram of a hydraulic jack. A simple one for us to understand the concept of Pascal principle in a hydraulic jack. So hydraulic jack is used to lift a heavy load. So this is how it looks like. We have an oil reservoir. We have reservoir to small cylinder which connects the small cylinder to the large cylinder. So you can see there is two valves involved in the hydraulic jack. When the handle is pressed down, the first valve will close and the small piston forces the oil through the second valve to the large cylinder. When the handle is raised, second valve will close and oil flows from the reservoir through first valve into the small cylinder. Lastly, the handle is pressed up and down continuously until the load is sufficiently raised. Now we're going to apply the Pascal principle in a hydraulic jack. This is a diagram of a hydraulic jack. When the handle is pressed down, a force exerted on the surface of the water. Hence, it produces pressure. Pascal principle states that pressure is transmitted uniformly in all directions. So, when the oil moves from the small cylinder to the large cylinder, the pressure acting on the large cylinder is actually the same as the pressure acting on the small cylinder. That's all from me, and I hope you get a better idea on what Pascal principle is and how you apply it to a hydraulic jack. Thank you.